Hello again. We are all of us familiar with the expression Armageddon, meaning an apocalyptic battle leading to the end of all that we know. But perhaps some people are unaware that it is actually a place. Armageddon is actually a corruption of Har Megiddo, the Mount of Megiddo, and it is in northern Israel. The remains of the ancient city of Megiddo are there, and there is also a modern airfield, which has been attacked with rockets in the last few months. In other words, fighting has already begun at Megiddo. This is where the Bible says that the last battle will be fought at the end of the world. This is relevant to what is now happening in the Middle East because Iran is almost certainly planning to strike Israel again, perhaps this time from Iraq. They are said to be moving ballistic missiles and drones to Iraq in preparation for such an attack, which may possibly take place before the election in the United States. The few days around the election of the next president are likely to see some sort of trouble in the world because there's a moment when America is so focused on domestic matters that they might not be quick off the mark reacting to something going on the other side of the world. If Iran does launch a large-scale attack on Israel again, then it could easily start a chain of events which might indeed turn into Armageddon. Israel's ultimate aim is simple, and it's not the expansion of their territory. I'll come back to that point in a moment. What they wish to do at all costs is prevent Iran developing a nuclear weapon. This is what is actually happening at the moment. The Iranians are purifying uranium to weapons grade, and they've probably got the capability now to build a nuclear weapon if they wanted to. The Iranian space program, although ostensibly aimed at sending up a satellite, is really intended to develop an intercontinental ballistic missile. Everybody wants to hope that that doesn't happen or that somebody stops it happening, because if it did, then the Iranians could strike anywhere in the world, including Britain and America. So it's in our interests, really, that somebody puts a stop to it, and none of us have got the courage to do it. For Israel, the fear is of second Holocaust, the destruction of the Jewish state in fire. It's referred to as Holocaust too. So it is that they have plans to destroy the Iranian nuclear program. But you see, all the main parts are hidden under mountains where conventional weapons might not reach. Israel, though, has tactical nuclear weapons, and the terrible fear in the West is that if there is an all-out, no-holds-barred war, then Israel might use these to take out the Iranian nuclear facilities. Now, they'd be doing us a favour in one sense, because we don't want Iran to develop nuclear weapons and intercontinental ballistic missiles any more than anybody else does. It would be a very alarming development. However, whether Russia would sit quietly if somebody nuked a next-door neighbour who is also their ally is an interesting point which I don't think anybody wishes to consider or see put to the test. Israel would be able to inflict a lot of harm on Russia if it came to a war, but I don't think anybody wants to see that either. This then is why some of us fear that we are indeed on the verge of Armageddon, because if Israel unleashes all its power, then nobody knows what will happen next, and it would almost certainly draw us into a nuclear war. The current war and the condemnation of Israel is, by the way, connected in some people's minds with what they believe to be Israeli expansionism. The idea that Israel is determined to seize neighbouring territories to add to and enlarge the size of their own country. This is the most bizarre idea imaginable. In 1979, I was living near Rafah in the northern Sinai. At that time, Israel controlled and administered around 32,000 square miles of territory. This included the 23,500 square miles of the Sinai Peninsula, all of Lebanon, which lies south of the Litani River, and the whole of the Gaza Strip. Every square inch of this territory was abandoned as part of the process known as land for peace. In other words, Israel withdrew from those territories in exchange for peace with the people who would then reoccupy them. The result is that the area of modern Israel is now just 8,000 square miles, about a quarter of the area it controlled 45 years ago. That is some expansionism, that Israel has voluntarily reduced its area until it is now about the same size as Wales. I don't think anybody who knows the history of that area really thinks that Israel had ambitions to seize territory and expand. They just want to be left alone.